Yo, what is up, everybody? Your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Network coming at you with another edition of the Unscripted Sportscast, baby. After a week's absence, your boy is back. Didn't go live yesterday because something in my gut told me that after week 14, I knew there was going to be some deadlines, some great headlines or whatever the case may be. So I left it for Tuesday because we got some top storylines here. All of a sudden that we're going to have to discuss here today. Here we go. Let me test the audio on X. All right, here we go. Audio working great. Sound check up in the building. And we're just going to move forward. And without further ado, let's start with, let me pin this in my profile. Let's start with breaking news. Philip fucking Rivers is back in the NFL. If you would have said someone was going to sign a quarterback or bring him along or give him a tryout that's been away from the game for over 4 years, I would have said, yo, hell no. I did not have that in my bingo card. In my 2025 NFL Week 14 bingo card. Absolutely not. Philip Rivers comes in, practices with the team last night or evening. As we all know, Daniel Jones took a dump out for the season. Riley Leonard comes in, and Riley Leonard has a knee injury. He's not 100%. 44-year-old Philip Rivers, who hasn't played in about 4 years, he's back in the NFL. He's back with the Colts. And people are like, why in the F is Philip Rivers back in football? And why is he with the Colts? Well, there's a couple of things here. Don't doubt the greatness of future Hall of Famers. By the way, Riley Leonard is out week to week with a PSL strain. I know he's 44. Last season with the Colts, Philip Rivers balled out. 24 touchdowns, 11-5 record, averaged 256 yards per game. I know the playoff was a complete disaster. But Philip Rivers is here because he is, with his deep familiarity with the Shane Steichen's system that was built over 8 seasons while he was with the Chargers. And it kind of allows him to acclimate quickly to the offense. Also, he is running this same offense. And I know he's coaching high school. And running this offense and coaching high school is a whole lot different than quarterbacking in the NFL at 44 years old and being away from the game. Amen. A quarterback position, yes, it's tough. I honestly, I don't know how this is going to make sense. But these are the things that they're basing it on. Now, he still has to practice tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday to see if he has a possibility of playing. And that's tough. That is really, really tough. With a total of 1,800 days ago, which would be the third longest gap between starts for any quarterback in 50 years. 1,800 days is the last start for Philip Rivers. This is the last start for Philip Rivers. It is the longest gap of between starts since the 1950s. That's crazy. That is crazy. And listen, man, when times get tough, teams get desperate, and so is man, this is crazy. And of course, the Colin Kaepernick fans are out there screaming racism again. Why not Colin? He's only 38. Again, Colin Kaepernick does not have the caliber, even at 44, of a Philip Rivers. This is nothing against the kneeling, whichever side of the freaking fence you are politically, because it's all politicized with Colin and blackball, whatever the case may be, whatever your side of the ball is. Great. I'm not referring to any of that shit. I am referring to just plain freaking stats. 63,000 career yards for Philip Rivers, 7th of all time, 421 passing touchdowns, 6th of all time. Knows the offense very well. He doesn't need to be mobile back there. He just needs to let it rip and connect. And when you have a running back like Jonathan Taylor, can make life a little easier. Again, here's what we got. Yes, Philip is probably not in the best shape, even though they're saying he's been active throughout the 4 years. He practices every day out in the field. He with his high school football team that he coaches. He's constantly in the move. I know his kids are in sports. That's just, you're going with the guy that knows the offense and has the Hall of Fame numbers over the guy that was a flash in the pan and was a backup quarterback towards the end of his career. 6'7". Let's see what happens. Here's the crazy part. Who out of the team, who seems to probably benefit the most out of this crazy ass storyline, man? Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is going to keep bowling out. He's going to be the first option. Was the first option before with Daniel Jones. He's going to be the first option as well with Phillip Rivers, right? He's going to be the only option and the first option. Let me see here. Michael Pittman Jr. and Tyler Warren should receive a steady target of volumes as the Colts' top intermediate options, while Alex Pierce value from the hit deep downfield threat. So that's where we're at, man. Crazy that Phillip Rivers is back in the league. I honestly pushing for the guy. I'm going to tell you why. Selfishly, he's always been a hell of a player, a class act in football, a class act in the league. Good old Christian, man. I'm always going to root for that. This is first over anything else in life. So, you know what I'm saying? He's a good Christian guy. I know he has like 20,000 kids, but hey, he has sons. He has 20,000 kids, including his oldest son is the age of Tyler Warren or older than Tyler Warren. That's something I heard today. But welcome back to the league, Phillip Rivers. All right, Phillip Rivers. Again, they're banking on one last flash of semi-greatness from the 7th all-time in career passing yards and 6th all-time in passing touchdowns. Future Hall of Famer Phillip Rivers is here to let it rip and sling it. I mean, bro, championships are tough. When you won a championship, it doesn't matter how long you've been out of the game, man. You always want to come back to that. Now, from a fan standpoint, I'm not a Colts fan, but hey, I would love for Phillip Rivers to do a Joe Flacco like he did a few years ago and deliver this team into the playoffs like Joe Flacco did for the Browns when he just came in there and in fast relief. That's just from my perspective. Realistically, this is going to be a shit show. 4 years of inactivity. I don't care how good of a quarterback you were, how good of a quarterback, if you have Hall of Fame numbers, this is going to be a disaster. I hope not, but it's going to be a complete disaster for the Colts. They just need a couple of wins. They need a couple of wins to get into the playoffs. This injury does help the Kansas City freaking Chiefs. You know what I mean? It helps the Kansas City Chiefs. Are the Kansas City Chiefs now, is that dynasty paused for now? Are we a 6-7? 6-7? Man, too many 6-7 opportunities. Is this dynasty paused at least for this year? Well, based on what we got going on, yes. It's not there, right? Rashid Rice coming in later in the year, but you could see Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's as sharp as he's been years before. I know the numbers may not say it, may not describe it, but when you look at the eye test, Patrick Mahomes, man, I mean, regardless of how great he is, you can see a little bit of a decline. And I think it has to do with Travis Kelce being old. I think at this point, Travis Kelce, I mean, you saw how bad he played against a tough defense. All right. I mean, in the you can't fuck around when you play a team like Houston's defense is for real. You know what I'm saying? So Travis Kelce right now, it's hurting that team more than it's helping the Chiefs or than helping Patrick Mahomes. That was a costly interception that went through Kelce's hands. There were some drops. Doesn't have the same speed. Doesn't have the same hand-eye coordination. Patrick Mahomes probably, again, needs more weapons from a passing standpoint. I mean, he is like the leading rusher in the team. 59 rushing yards again. 14 for 33. Yes, 3 interceptions. I know this defense is tough. And it is tough. Therefore, you need players that can make plays and get open. All right. I know Worthy was the leading receiver. Hollywood Brown nowhere to be found. Rashid Rice, he was kept in check. 4 receptions, but Colin could muster 34 yards. Kelce, 1 reception, had 5 targets. drop balls, a drop freaking ball that hit off and it was an interception that cost them the game. And honestly, some bad play calling this season as well. It showed in the last game going forward up in their own side of the field with a really tough defense like that. I mean, I don't know. There was a questionable calls here. And the fact that, when Tom Brady saw a little bit of a decline towards this type of his career after having, going to the Super Bowl 3 or 4 times, he had to adjust himself. He had to adjust himself a little bit in order to kind of like, hit that second gear in the second half of his career. And I think this is where the crossroads of Patrick Mahomes right now is at. I think he needs to adjust himself, right? He's at 3,300 yards for the year, 22 touchdowns, 10 picks. I think he needs to kind of adjust and modify his game, maybe his shape, get himself in better shape. This is what Brady did in order to refocus himself. I know it's, 2017, it came into the league. He started playing in 2018, and there's only been, 7 years? But, you got that mid point of your career where you hit a little bit of decline based on the fact that everybody knows everything he's doing. But 22 points, 10 interceptions, it's good numbers for any other quarterback, not for Patrick Mahomes. But a lot of it has to do with not having weapons, all right, at his disposal. Travis Kelce ain't it anymore, and he's helping the team. He's hurting the team more than he's helping the team. Travis Kelce should have stayed retired, or should have retired. I'm sorry. Travis Kelce should have retired, period. Forget about it. Forget about coming back. It is what it is. It is what it is. So I think the dynasty is not over. It's just going to be paused, at least for this season. Maybe next season. Let's see what happens. Let's see what else we got on the plate here today. I am firing bullets today, boys and girls. I'm coming from the throats, man. I got a little bit of everything. I got a little bit of freaking everything. All right. You know what I'm saying? Talking about a little bit of everything. I got some NBA for y'all. The rumor mill is out there. I mean, this is not really a rumor mill. I mean, if you didn't expect this to happen, then you folks really are not watching football. I mean, not watching sports. But reports are that, Mr. Anthony Davis is on the trading block. Why not? He still has a nice high salary, but why not get him on the trading block? And rumor is Pistons, Hawks, Raptors are all expected suitors. Expiring contract. Street clothes. The problem with street clothes is that he's going to be off the court more than he's on the court. And again, the way Cooper Flack is developing, I think it's going to benefit Anthony Davis getting traded once Kyrie comes back or before then. So he'll have more room to work. Anthony Davis, it just makes sense as a trade piece. Like I mentioned earlier this year, trade them all. I would even trade Kyrie. Kyrie still has a lot of value left in him. And a contender would absolutely pick up Kyrie at this point. Build those assets, baby. Bring those assets around Coop. And Anthony Davis deserves to be traded. First of all, he deserves to be traded again. This would be the last piece of the disastrous trade of Luka Doncic. If Anthony Davis goes bye-bye, which if I was a betting man, I feel Anthony Davis will be gone before the All-Star break. If the Dallas Mavericks are smart, I would cash in this chip. Put your street clothes chip in the center of the table and get them gone. Mortgage some picks. Get back a nice piece player to help you this year. Just to be on the court to help Coop. Cooper Flag is what I'm talking about. But take this time. There's going to be teams that are going to want Anthony Davis to help them for that playoff push. So, yep. Anthony Davis is a man that probably needs to be traded. Actually, probably doesn't need to be traded. He has to get traded. You know what I'm saying? He's on the block and should definitely go bye-bye. It's one of the ways you kind of limit the damage done by the Cooper Flag trade, the Luka Doncic trade. I mean, it just makes perfect sense. Just make perfect sense. All right, let's see what else we got here. Moving on. And I want to end up with the closing. I want to end up with excuse me, give me 1 second. I want to end up with Justin Herbert last night, but look, like I always told you, bro, I meant up for everything. I always meant up for everything. Let's talk some Shedeur Sanders. Regardless of the loss, hey, I saw some stuff that I liked. Right? He still got another pick. He still hold too damn belong to the ball. And look, regardless of how bad defensively the Titans are, and I'm a Cam Ward fan, by the way. Shout out to the U who made the tournament, and shout out to Cam Ward for getting that dub. 1-0 generational versus legendary, regardless of the numbers. But Shedeur Sanders did outplay Cam Ward. Not gonna lie. Numbers here don't lie. 97% rating, 364 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran one himself, made some decent throws. Regardless of how shitty that defense of the actual Titans is, and don't get me wrong, he was the first quarterback to throw for 300 yards against the Titans defense. How bad the defense is, I'll give him credit for that. I am not bringing the anointment oil. I still don't see him as a long-term solution for the Browns or the franchise quarterback. I don't get it twisted. As I mentioned in his first game, right? As I mentioned after that first half of the game, he came in to relieve Dillon Gabriel. As I mentioned after the Raiders game, after I mentioned when he played, he got his ass handed to him against the 49ers. Small sample size, good or bad. A franchise quarterback, in my eyes, I got to see a full season. I criticize him as hard as I criticize Mr. 9, J.J. McCarthy. You know what I'm saying? I still don't see him as a franchise quarterback. Small sample size for me to make that decision convincingly. But I am going to give credit where credit is due. As bad as I may criticize, I am also going to give him credit. He had one hell of a game. And after these 3 games, I've seen enough for him to absolutely be justified as a starting quarterback for the remainder of the season, and not Gabriel. Gabriel sucks too, dude. I said this. Both quarterbacks to me suck. However, Shedeur has earned the opportunity to stay the quarterback for the remainder of the year. And depending on how well he finishes the season, maybe he is your guy to start the season. All right. And really bad play calling by the offensive coordinator of the Browns to take him out for a trick play. Let him beat you or let him lose the game for you. He earned the opportunity. He put you in that position. That was stupid. I know Stefanski gave up all the play calling, you know what I'm saying, for Shedeur, to the new offensive coordinator, but as a head coach, that's when you make a decision. Be like, hey, dude, no, we're not going to run this. Let Shedeur cook and finish cooking. He's either going to finish a great meal, or he's going to burn the last entree. So I don't blame Shedeur on this game at all for the loss. He actually played one hell of a game. You cannot turn your head and be fucking ignorant. He had a hell of a game. One of the best rookie performances of the season, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Jackson Dart has some great games, right? Jackson Dart has had some awesome games. Shedeur has had probably one of the best performance by a rookie quarterback this season. It is what it is. I'm going to criticize him again eventually before the year. I know that for a fact, but I'm going to give him props. And again, for all you Shedeur sexuals and haters that called me a hater in my last video on my shorts, look, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it gangster. I'm gonna give it to you how it is. From my perspective, the eye test still tells me there's a lot of flaws that if he works on, he could be a starter in this league for a long time. But I don't, if he doesn't, again, look, that pick, uncalled for. Freaking holds to the ball on too long. He's gonna take unnecessary sacks. The 49ers beat the crap out of him. That's what happens. You can't play the Raiders or the Titans every single week. But either way, great performance by Shedeur. Hey, listen, man, you earned the job, at least for the remainder of the season. Prove me wrong. What else we got, baby? What else we got, man? I'm on fire, baby. I'm on fire. I told you, man. I missed y'all, man. I missed you all. But let me see what else we got. Let me see what else we got here in the plate. I wrote this stuff down. I got stuff here I wasn't going to talk about, but I got stuff around. Yo, let's talk some Justin Herbert, man. Justin Herbert is one tough son of a bitch. Whoever tells you that Justin Herbert does not care about the game, all right, it doesn't have the passion for the game, is lying. This dude, and I'm gonna play some clips. This dude had surgery about a week ago. Broken hand surgery on his hand. Goes in there with a freaking glove or a cast. Doesn't have a sharp game. But the man battled. The man battled. He made some plays when he had to. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but he used the tools that he have. We all know that this man is a gifted quarterback. Can make different throws, right? He lost his best lineman, which is a huge... I mean, he got sacked like 7 times. The real reason why he's getting rushed, reason why he's injured. But regardless of the fact, wasn't a sharp game, real low QBR, but 240 passing yards. He threw, 139 passing yards, threw for a touchdown, had a pick. He was sacked like 7 times. But what impressed me the most is his toughness, dude. He led the team in running and rushing yards. My man had 10 carries, 66 rushing yards against that really good defense. And extended the plays with his feet when it mattered the most. He is one tough SOB. Nobody can ever say that Justin Herbert is not a tough dude and doesn't care about the team. We'll know that Jim Harbaugh loves his ass. He loves him. He said in an interview that because he puts this game, right, in the discussion of the birth of my 7 children, my marriage, in the conversation. That's crazy. Just joyful, joyous, and biblical definition of that is just overflowing with joy. That's how he felt about this victory over the freaking Eagles. I don't think I would put anything not even in the same scenario, below the birth of my kids or my marriage. The fact that he said that, dude, he has balls. I don't know how well he slept last night. I mean, he might have been happy, but he probably had to go hit the couch. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here's a clip of what Jim Harbaugh had to say after the game. I'm going to play a 30-second clip. What the hell am I? Play a 30-second clip here of what he had to say. Whoop. Ready? Here you go.
And Justin Herbert, he's a superhero. He's a competitive maniac. He was even stiff-arming guys, with the broken hand. He had surgery a week ago, and out here tonight. It felt like I was in like we were in a movie where the quarterback's doing these, and it's like you get to the point where you go, okay, this is getting a little unrealistic. That's what it felt like to me.
That's crazy. He loves Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert is a competitor. He's a competitor who loves the ball. Not many people are going to come back a week later after surgery, regardless where it is, and take 7 sacks, getting his ass kicked, but still pull out the dub. Justin Herbert is built freaking different, boys and girls. He is built different. And he's a dude that deserves some props and deserves to actually have victory and success, all right, in the playoffs. It is what it is. What else? Oh, crap, man. I can't believe this. Oh, oops. There we go. Did I just, sorry about that, man. I hate when this happens. Man. I actually closed my my X feed here, and I had something that I need to share. Let me go ahead and delete that. Let me go back here to X. I still need to share some stuff because I got a couple of more points, a couple of more things to unpack before we finish, before we get over the 30-minute mark. You know what I mean? So let's talk about a little MVP talk here. And what I'm heading to here is Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Came back after a solid week, after a loss, after Matthew Stafford, has been playing, was playing like lights out. They just come back and annihilate the next victory. Puka had a monster game, 2 touchdowns. Matthew Stafford had himself threw for another 3 touchdowns and 281 yards. Matthew Stafford right now is just playing like a man possessed. He's playing like a man possessed. Hold on a second. Let me share the screen real quick. And right now, I know everybody on Monday night was screaming Drake May, But, dude, I think Matthew Stafford is the MVP award is for him to lose. All right. The team has a great record. Let me go ahead and pull up. Hold on a second, guys. Let me go to ESPN here. Let me go to scores real quick here. Let's break down this. Let's break down this week's. Let's break down. Oh, come on, internet is running slow, guys. I apologize. I mean, I checked it before I got on the live here, but internet is running a little slow today, man. Hate it. But let's go to the Rams and Cardinals, 45-17. We knew it was going to be a good bounce back game. Matthew Stafford again, 281, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Blake Corum has taken over this. It's just insane with Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. 128 rushing yards, 84 for Williams. This is a really dangerous team. You know, it's time for Davante Adams to take a back seat and let Puka Nacua cook with 2 touchdowns and 167 yards. It's crazy. That's crazy. The reason why I say Matthew Stafford should win the MVP right now, 3,354 yards, 35 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Before last week, where he threw 2 picks, a man has had a 25, 26 touchdown streak, 25 touchdown streak with no picks. Unreal. He deserves to be in the MVP conversation. I think he deserves. I think the MVP is for him to lose. You know what I mean? And the Rams right now are one of the favorites to win. To win, they're 10-3. And if everybody stays healthy, we know how good that defense can be, or is how good that defense is. We know how good the Rams defense is. Matthew Stafford, the running game is just on fire. Blake Corum is just ridiculous. He's your number 2. Kyron Williams, we know what he could do. He's been doing it now for like 3 seasons in a row. With Puka and the new added and oh my gosh, forget about his name. And newly added Davante Adams, who's having an unbelievable season. They're deep. They got some guys that can run deep. Colby Parkinson is a good tight end. Xavier Smith is a speedster. They just got a lot of weapons. So odds-on favorite to probably win right now, as of this point, week 14. And our boy deserves to win the MVP. I think this is the MVP for him to lose. I know Drake May is having a great season, but Drake May has been playing a bunch of soft games. Not Matthew Stafford. I wanted to bring that up there, man. But right now, this is the best team in the NFL. Absolutely the best team in the NFL. All right. Let's close this show. Let's end it up. I know I don't want to go through like a lot of different things, but I want to touch on a little something before I leave. And on December 7th, Notre Dame, right, decided to pull out from the bowl game. They say they they put out a statement. As a team, we decided to withdraw our name from a consideration for a bowl game following the 2025 season. We appreciate all the support from our families and fans and hoping to bring the 12th national title to South Bend in 2026, the 2025 Notre Dame football team. We all know they feel shafted, that they did not make it in. I know there's a lot of controversy, them or Miami. I still think Miami deserves to be in because they beat Notre Dame, regardless of when it was, beginning of the season or whatever the case may be. Miami deserves to be in, no doubt about it. However, so does Notre Dame. This was a decision made by the teams, by the players, not just the coaches of the university. And is like chapping the NCAA's ass, and of course, probably ESPN and the networks, because this is one of the blue bloods in college football, Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. 11 championships. they bring a lot of money to the table when it comes to sponsorships for a game that Notre Dame is going to play in a bowl. Even if they didn't make the playoffs, boom. So you know this is chapping ESPN's ass, CBS, whatever, whoever projects the whoever network. I think it's ESPN who has a contract. And they don't like it. And this is Notre Dame saying right here, buddy, to the big networks. Y'all gonna do some stupid ass voting. This is them doing this to the committee. Y'all gonna do stupid ass voting and you just play, God with certain teams that should be in and some that should not be in. They're making a stand. Listen, I understand a few years ago when Florida State, their quarterback got hurt and they made the decision. And they made the decision to not go in, right? Well, this is a completely different story. UM is in, and honestly, so does Notre Dame should be in. And it could have been made, made happen. JMU, I don't care what season, how many wins you got. They are not in the caliber of any of those freaking teams in there. Sorry, no disrespect to JMU. But Notre Dame should be in instead of JMU. Tulane, no disrespect to Tulane, bro. Anybody that went there. Notre Dame deserves to be in there over Tulane. It's not rocket science. We know it's still a business. Even though it's college sports, it's still a business that brings a lot of money to the networks, to the universities. I mean, for Pete's sakes, you have NIL. You have GMs being hired to funnel NIL and manage payroll for college athletes now. So, Notre Dame is making a statement. And this is a problem that is not going to go away until you fix it. NCAA, the committee, come up with something. Because this is not working. And you will have, and there's like 7 teams that withdrew themselves from the from bowl games. But a lot of those are shitty teams that nobody cares or wants to watch. And that includes Iowa or Iowa State, whichever one it was. But when a team like Notre Dame does this, FSU does this, that's your first sign that there's something broken that needs to be fixed. No disrespect to JMU or Tulane, you should not be in there over Notre Dame. Notre Dame should have been there, earned the right to be there. Actually, Texas with Arch Manning probably earned the right to be there over JMU and Tulane as well. I said it. Based on schedule. But Notre Dame had one of the toughest schedules. I know they lost to the U, but it should not have come down to them and Miami. Both teams should have been in. Miami is in, so should have been Notre Dame. It is what it is. It's a complete F up by the committee. I don't know who's running this or how brain dead that person is, but if Notre Dame does have the record, Notre Dame does have the right matchups, Notre Dame had the tough schedule as well. They checked every box in the damn resume, in the application to get in, and you still gave it to somebody else. Just based on favoritism. Or whatever the heck narrative the committee was trying to pull by letting JMU and Tulane in the business. I don't want to go that route. I'll let Clay Travis handle that. But Notre Dame deserves to be in a bowl. And they have all the right in the world to be pissed off and pull out of a bowl consideration. They're just sticking it back to the networks. Y'all want to do this? Y'all committee want to do this? Guess what? I control my own destiny when it comes to what can the university do or cannot do. As much as I hate it as a fan, because you're going to miss out on watching a great institution like Notre Dame play football during a bowl, I give them credit. I give the students credit, the student athletes credit, the coaches, to having these young men and staff, having these young men and staff making a decision this big. Some of these players are not playing again. They're either graduating, they're going to the NFL. Some of them are not going to the NFL. But the fact that some of them sacrificed playing a game they love for the last time That gives them that shows a kind of grit, this team has, and some of these young men do have. So I don't blame them for pulling out. NCAA, whoever the committee is, fix it. If not, this is just going to get bigger and bigger, and more teams are just going to say, screw you, I'm not playing any ball. And that's when the shit hits the fan. That's it, boys and girls. All I got for today, baby. That's all I got for today. Let's go. Appreciate you all, man. Appreciate anybody that tuned in today. Again, I am back this week, ready to go ham again. Appreciate you all. Gave you some of my takes here. We'll be back next week. Cigars and sports. I got to get with Jim. It's Christmas season. I do a lot of things in the weekend. I got to get my boy Jim from Cigars and Sports. My other half, my boy from the fan of the band. Check it out. Yo, he's dropping episodes, at least 3 of them a week. Check out his podcast. It's dope. It is great. Great audio listen when you're in the car, when you're going to work, when you're coming from work, man. You're not going to regret it. Great stuff. Make sure you listen to his stuff. But we got to get together. I don't know. The schedule is kind of messed up, at least for me. Got stuff going on Saturdays where we usually do it. It's a lot of Christmas stuff, man. Christmas lights are up, man. I love Christmas, by the way. I just want to end on that note. I love Christmas, by the way. I'm a kid at heart. I do it for my family, of course. I put a shitload of lights up. It's the, in addition to just for my family, for and foremost, is the birth of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's what Christmas is all about. You know what I mean? But as I grown older and I've gone stronger in my faith, and I started believing in faith as a kid born in a communist country who there was no freedom of religion. I didn't know what Christmas was. All right. Until the age of 8 when we left Cuba. And I only had that innocence of seeing it through the eyes of a kid for at least a year, maybe 2, because, most kids believe in Santa for 4 or 5 years, right? From like the age of 2 or 3 all the way to like 6, 7, or 8. My kid's 8 years old. The second, third grade is when they found out, he wasn't real. But it was just that innocence that I saw through them, that it was so cool. I didn't experience that. So I only had like a very small taste of it as a kid. So deep down inside, man, as an adult, I celebrated through the eyes of my kids, but it's like special. You know what I mean? I sound like a geek here, but it's so cool. Like I said, not having that privilege for the first latter life of the first part of my life, right? But at today, again, it's important that I probably go a lot for Christmas. So not only just decorations inside of the house, outside of the house, we do a lot of events. We go to different lighting ceremonies. We actually got the zoo this weekend at night. It's a zoo at night where they light up all the damn, where they light up the entire zoo, a big area where the animals are out there. We got other stuff that we do. It's like we do a lot of different Christmas stuff. I'm fortunate that I live in South Florida where I have access to like a lot of different venues, man, within driving distance, right? It's cool. And my kids enjoy it, and I enjoy it myself, and through them the most. So Christmas is huge in the Average Joe Sports Talk, the Average Joe household. And again, it's number one and foremost is the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And second importantly is a time for peace, it's a time for joy, and it's a time for giving, and just to reflect back. So love Christmas. With that being said, boys and girls, your boy is out like a light. This is your boy E-Man from the Average Joe Sports Talk Podcast. Y'all signing out, man. Let's go ahead and delete and then lower this over here and give you the full screen. Peace, y'all. See you next week. Yo!